Hello, Internet. My name's Ashley, and I like horror movies. Ew! Who's a good movie? Who's a good movie? That's right, you're a good movie. I don't care what other people have to say about you, you're such a good movie. Hello. I need a longer intro. Today's review, The Amityville Horror, 1979. The one that started it all, and in my opinion, should go down in history as being one of the better horror movies in the horror genre. Why? There's lots of reasons why. And I'm going to tell you the subject matter. Demons. For me, demons are the epiphany of just the scariest thing that could possibly happen to you. It's not like Nightmare on Elm Street. That's confined to one street. It's not like Halloween, where it's confined to one family. Demons are universal. Demons, because where there is God, where there is angels, there is Satan, and there is demons. So for me, there is nothing more horrifying than a demon possession. It's truly the scariest thing that could possibly happen to somebody. So the subject matter, just on its own, it's a frightening concept. Demons, they're very sly and very smart about the way they latch to a host. They kind of, they're very quiet, and they kind of get you worked up a little bit at a time. They feed off of negative energy, and they can't just go all out right away, right? So they've got to kind of bait their victim, and they've got to kind of draw their victim in, and they've got to kind of make their victim's life miserable before they can put themselves in that person. So, thinking about having a unholy force inside of my vessel, tearing shit up from the inside out, they're like little pests. They invade, and once they're in, they're hard to get out. So the subject matter alone terrifies me. So I think that that's why, one of the main reasons why I love this movie. Demon possession, bad. Scary, right? So what else do I like about the movie? The actors. Not all of the actors deserve awards for their time featured in this movie. Actually, I'm going to be quite honest. Two actors in this movie are what make this movie. And that's the priest and the actor who plays George Lutz's character. Both did a phenomenal job of portraying those characters both believably and sympathetically. The priest, you can tell that he is just a good guy. He goes out of his way to help them, and it doesn't matter if he's getting hurt by the demons. It doesn't matter how scary things get. He is determined to get these people some help. And it doesn't work for him, but his passion, his compassion, I should say, is there. And it makes you feel sympathetic for him. It makes you actually feel god-awful for him, because he is a hero who doesn't get the benefits of being heroic. Him trying to get them help, it causes conflict. Not only does it cause physical pain, mental pain, eventually a physical disability, but it also causes conflict in his life with his church peeps. There's a really outstanding scene where he is trying to beg the other religious leaders to get in touch with the Vatican to get this home, or to exorcise the home, and they are basically telling him to shove it where the sun don't shine. It is hard to get an exorcism. It's very hard. There's change you have to go through. There's proof that has to be taken care of, and it is really hard for everybody involved. And he does a good job of showing emotional investment in this family. You just feel for him. You feel the love, and that he's just a holy man and he's trying to do God's work, and you just, it's really difficult for him, and he does, the actor who plays that part does just a phenomenal job of just making you feel bad for him. He gets the point across. Let's just put it that way. The point, well received, sir, and I liked it. Now, the actor who plays George Lutz, he does a really good job as well, because he also, like the priest, is a good guy. He's actually a really good guy. He has taken on this family, a single mom with children that are not his, and for him it's no big deal, you know. And in reality, a lot of people would have a hard time adjusting, and you don't really know how much of an adjustment period he had prior to moving into the house, but it's really null and void, considering the fact that he's so good at it. He's a good husband, he's a hard worker, and it just shows. And then the bad stuff happens. The bad stuff being the house that they move into. And this actor does a really good job showing a man who is in a war for his mind, body, and soul, all while trying to keep it quiet and to himself. He doesn't tell his wife. He doesn't seek the priest out. He is trying to be a strong man about what he's going through, and you could just tell it's torturing him, and you could just see the push and pull of good and evil. You can tell that he is fighting his ass off to keep normality. It's very beautifully portrayed. It's very believable. You feel like this man is fighting for his soul, and as the movie progresses, just like a demon possession would, it gets more and more severe. And you just see this character kind of losing his mind. And the actor just does such a good job. I mean, it really is a very good, well played part. He does such a good job. Very believable. I cannot see him as anybody else but George Lutz. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was the sexuality. This is where I appreciate the movie. A lot of the sexuality in horror movies is basically geared towards men. You've got the big-breasted woman with her floppy naked boobies. She's running and, from something, and she's Baywatching it. It's totally hot. It's more geared towards men, but not this movie. No. This movie has stuff for the ladies. And thank you, movie, because it was worth it. It goes back and forth pretty well. You get a shot of, the mom. I don't know why I'm not remembering her name. I've had a headache all day in this review. I've been struggling with. Forgive me for forgetting her name. And there's a scene where she's stretching that leg way up in the sky, and she's only in panties, and her shirt for some reason has one button right here, and why it's only got one button right here, just have it be an overshirt then at this point, but it's got one little button here, and you never see nipple, but she's stretching that leg out, and it's all sorts of sexy. But then there's a scene where George gets out of his bed, and he's only in his underwear, which happen to be whitey tighties, because I guess at the time boxers weren't as prominent. I'm not a 70s person. I wasn't born then. I don't know what the men were wearing on their crotches. So forgive me for that too, but he's wearing tighty whities, and never have they looked so good. He's just good. He's a good looking man. And, as I said, as a female, I enjoy the fact that there is sexuality for both sexes. And it's not more dominant really for either. And the sexuality that they have, it's not offensive. It's not, I don't think it's anything that's too risque. It's just in there, and it I like to look at it as just good fun. It's just good fun. Looking at, They make some very questionable wardrobe choices for the mom. Like, really? Pigtail? She wears pigtails one day, and then the next day, full blown schoolgirl outfit. Are you kidding me? Did he marry a porn star? Because it seems like the leftover wardrobe from her porn career made it on set to the Amityville horror. It's a little much for me, you know, but it's fun. It's fun, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. The fun of the movie. This movie, it goes there and does that. Bleeding walls, you know, the little kid with the imaginary friend, and, you know, we've seen it all before, but it's done so well in this movie. You can't help but take it as a bonus point, you know? There's a lot of ridiculous, like, scenarios in this movie. For one, you know, the flies. Yuck. I get one fly on me and I'm like freaking out, and this man's just sitting there as they have an orgy on his face. It doesn't take away from the movie for me. It's good fun for me. I like it. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous and it doesn't make sense why he's standing there while they just accumulate on his face, but it works and it's good and I like it. It's silly fun. It wasn't so silly, I'm sure, when it came out, and I didn't find it silly when I watched it when I was a kid. It truly did horrify me, but now I'm an adult and horror movies are advancing a lot. For me, it's turned into good fun, and there is a lot of good fun to be had. You know, the beady eyes coming through the window, the two red, like, eyes that kind of shift there. It's like, even when I was a kid, that part made me laugh out loud because it was just such bad effects. And, you know, the what is that thing in the window at the end? It's like, I understand that it's a demon, but it looks like a pig dragon. Like, yay, effects! The bleeding walls and the black stuff coming out of the toilet, gross. You know, it's all in good fun for me, and I think that, cheesy as it may be, I think it adds to the movie, and I like it a lot. The only flaws that I see in this movie is that it is slightly dated, but you can't hold that against a movie from the 70s, because even in the 90s we had no idea where, you know, the film industry was going to go and what we were going to get. We didn't know that CGI was going to advance to the way that it is now. So it's slightly dated, but it's still good. The effects are cheesy, but it's still good. And other than that, I can't think of anything else I don't like about the movie. I mean, it really is just a good watch, and it's good for a rewatch. At least around Halloween time, watch, and it's one of my favorite movies. And so, with that being said, this is my messy review. Stay haunted, Ghoulies!